Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I am going to bring you a makeup tutorial on this look that I'm wearing right now. I posted a picture of this look on my Instagram a while back. Again, it was something that I was playing around. I was going out for the evening and I had a little extra time, so I played with some of my shadows and I came up with this look. And I loved how it turned out, so I wanted to recreate it for you. For the most part, I used my Devinah Cosmetics singles. Devinah Cosmetics is an indie brand and they have some really beautiful shadows and they're not super expensive, so I definitely recommend them. I will link everything down below, so make sure and check that out. So if you want to see how I created this look, then just keep on watching. All right, so let's get started. I've already primed my eyes and I set it. I used the MAC Painterly Paint Pot and I set it with the Wet n Wild Brulee eyeshadow. And of course, I've already done the rest of my face, so if you're curious about what I've put on my face, then just check the description box below. It will all be down there. So honestly, everything, I'm pretty sure, except for one shade, are my Devinah Cosmetics singles. I'd wanted to use some of the new colorful shades that I got from them, and so I played with those a little bit, but then I needed something to deepen it up, and that was the shade that I found in the Anastasia Artist Palette. But you know, it goes for anything that I do on here or that anyone else does. You know, just use what you have. Don't feel like if you don't have specific shades that you can't recreate a look with what you have. You know, even if it ends up being a little bit different, it's still, you know, will have kind of the same effect. That being said, I do really recommend these Devinah Cosmetics singles because they're very inexpensive and they're really nice. So I'm going to start with this shade right here, which is just a beautiful periwinkle purple shade. And this is the shade Push. This was kind of what inspired the whole look. It ended up being really the star of the show. So I'm just gonna take that shade, I'm gonna put it on my lid, leaving out a little bit in the center, and I'm just gonna blow it out everywhere. And these are very pigmented and they blend easily, so you can just, you know, you can use a decent amount and, you know, just build it up. But they do blend out really nicely, especially for colorful shades. I'm just kind of, you know, blowing this out into the crease, and you know, some is getting on the lid anyway, and that's kind of how the look came to be, because I just sort of, you know, I put it everywhere and it just kind of, you know, became sort of a halo eye a little bit. And I'm gonna come back and add more. I don't really like to do one eye completely at a time. I like to sort of go back and forth because then it makes it easier to get them even. That's one of the hardest things, I think, in creating looks, is making sure that both eyes are totally even. That's at least what I find to be the hardest. You know, and so for me, I feel like, you know, going back and forth helps a lot. So you want it to look a little something like this, and we'll go back in with that shade after we deepen up the edges. So now I'm going to go into my Anastasia Artist Palette into the shade Unicorn. And this is just sort of like a darker, it's a little more blue than what we have in here, but it has a little bit of a purplish tone to it. So I felt like it would help deepen up the outer and inner corners of my eyes, because I just felt like I needed something to intensify the outer and inner part, but I just didn't really have something that worked with my Devinah shadows. And so I found this and it worked well. I don't know if they sell this in a single. This was a limited edition palette, but again, just use whatever you can find. This is actually, you know, a little bit sparkly too. You can see that. You don't end up really seeing that much when you put it on. And if I had like a darker periwinkle, then I probably would have gone for that, but that kind of worked well for that situation. I'm going to take a little bit smaller of a blending brush. This is the Sigma E25, and I'm going to pack that on a little bit more into those areas, and I'll drag it through the crease just a little bit. So you'll see it ends up sort of looking like a similar color. You don't even necessarily notice that you have different shades, but it deepens it up a little bit. So I put it on the outer edge and I put it on the inner, and then I kind of drag it. So like I said, it ends up sort of becoming a halo eye, even though that was not necessarily what I intended when I, you know, started out doing this look, but that kind of worked out. We'll just take that first shade that we used to blend everything together before we go in with the shimmer metallic shadow. And you could go in and deepen this up even a little bit more, but I kind of wanted this to be a little more like soft and smoky. So I felt that that was as deep as I wanted to go. But if you like it to be a little more intense and smoky, then you can do that. And I even sometimes go in and wipe off my brush on my color switch just so that I can kind of blend it out with, you know, a completely bare brush, you know, with no extra shadow on it, just to diffuse those edges, because I think that this looks really nice when it's all like blown out. So now that's where I want it to be, so I'm gonna go in with the Stila Shimmer and Glow. So they first came out with their Glitter and Glows, and those are more, well, glittery. These are more just like shimmered, almost like foiled wet shadows. They're gorgeous. And this one is in the shade Cloud, and it's a shade that I had really wanted, and then they finally came out with this shade in a mini size, and I was like, well, then I'm definitely gonna get it, because I was waiting until like it went on sale, because they are definitely pricey. But like, this is all you need. Like, it takes forever to go through things like this, and if I ever do, then I can always buy another one. But I just love when they sell mini sizes like this, because sometimes it just makes more sense to do that. And just like with the Glitter and Glows, you kind of want to put this down, pat it in a little bit, and then leave it. You're not going to have the kind of fallout with this one as you will with the glitter though, so they are definitely easier to use, I would say, than the glittery ones. And these definitely have a different effect than the glitter ones, but in a good way, just different. This has sort of like a purple shift to it. You can see it's sort of like, oh, it's gorgeous. It's like gold and purpley, and so it just looked gorgeous on top of this. And this is so opaque that you don't need to add any shadow in the middle there. You can see how gorgeous that is. Oh, so pretty. These are expensive, but I really do think they're worth the money. And again, if you can get like a mini like this, it's perfect. So I'm gonna go in and kind of pat it in. And I could go into and, you know, intensify it a little bit more, add a little bit more here or there. Like I said, these are a little bit easier to work with than the glitter ones. But, you know, so you can mess with them a little bit. And, you know, I'll go in and add a little bit more to just kind of create the shape that I want. Because I want it to sort of like look like it's, you know, blending into the outer edges nicely. You know, I want it to look seamless. And I'll go in with the shadows again probably afterwards if I feel like it needs a little bit more blending. And that's the nice thing about the shimmer ones, because with the glitter ones you wouldn't really want to do that. So I'm going to do the other eye. So I did the other eye. This one's dry, this one's not. So I'm gonna go in and work on this one just a little bit. I'm just gonna add a little bit more shadow just to blend the edges a little bit more, but I'm really not adding a lot, like very, very little bit to just sort of blend the edges. I'm not even like blending, I'm just sort of patting just to make sure it looks really seamless. Okay, that's it. So let's do the lower lash line. So I'm going to add this Marc Jacobs eyeliner. This is in the shade Mist Me. So I'm gonna put that in my waterline, and then we're gonna add the other shadow. And I'm also dragging it down a little bit against the lash line because we're gonna blend it out with a shade that's pretty similar. When I was trying to decide what to do for the lower lash line, I was looking at my Devinah singles, and I kind of felt like I wanted to do something that was, you know, it looked similar, but that would just be a little bit different. And so I went with this shade called Aria. So it just was a nice little pop of a you know, more purple shade on the bottom. And I ended up really liking the way that that turned out. So we're gonna do that. And we're just gonna blow that out so that you really see that color, you know. And I think it looks really nice with the more like periwinkle blue color up top. Just a nice contrast. And you could drag it down as much as you want, as dramatic as you want it to be, but I liked it kind of looking soft, you know, and you still can see it. And then for the inner corners, I went with one more Devinah single that I just thought would look so pretty. It adds another pop of color, a different color. And it was this one in the shade Lady Love. It's really pretty pink shimmer. And I wet my brush to put this on in my inner corners because I felt like it needed a little more of a pop. You can see it adds a really nice pop of pink. And I put this in here in my inner corners, and I just felt like I needed it to be a little bit brighter. So I'm gonna go in with the highlight that I used on my face to just pop that on top, just to make it a little brighter. And you don't have to do that. You can just leave it as is. But I just wanted to brighten it up just a tiny bit. So I went in with this highlighter by Becca, the Prismatic Amethyst. I love this. And I just popped a little bit of that on top just to brighten it up. See the difference? I hope you can. It still has that pink, but it intensifies it just a little bit. So I'm gonna go in with my mascara, I'm gonna do my lips, and I'll be right back. So this is the completed look. What do you think? I feel like this look is colorful, but it's really not too crazy. It's something that I would wear out normally. I don't feel like it's too bam in your face. It's colorful, but it's still soft. I really enjoyed recreating this look for you. Like I mentioned in my last tutorial, I very often put together some looks when I have time to play, and I don't film them because I don't really know what I'm doing. I don't know how it's going to turn out. So then I need to recreate it later, which, you know, I don't know, maybe I should just play more often on camera. Let me know if there are other tutorials that you'd like to see going forward, you know, if there are different color combinations or just colors in general that you'd love to see me try. Like I've mentioned before, I've really been trying to get more into color this year, and I've been having so much fun with it, so definitely send me your suggestions. If you like this video, please make sure and give it a big thumbs up. That really does help out my channel so much. If you are not subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. I would love for you to stick around, and I really hope to see you next time. Bye.